Hey guys, welcome to Home Sweet Homeschool. If you're new here, my name is Ashley and I'm a homeschooling mom to one. And in today's video, we're going to do a flip through of the newest unit from Gather Around Homeschool, Living Off the Land. This is a really exciting video for me because this year we have ordered the print from Gather Around Homeschool. We've always used digital in the past, but I decided to splurge this year and try their print. And you guys, I'm so impressed. If you ever have it in your budget to try out the print from Gather Around Homeschool, the quality is amazing. The paper is very thick and so glossy, and it's beautiful. Like, the pictures are beautiful. I always thought my printer did an excellent job, but seeing it come from a print shop, it's amazing. So we're going to look at the teacher's guide for Living Off the Land, and then I'm going to share with you the middle school notebook, because if you're new here, I homeschool our only child who is a 7th grader this year, and he is trying out the middle school notebook for the first time. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the teacher's guide and a little bit of the middle school notebook. If you have any questions about Gather Around Homeschool, be sure to leave them in the comments below, and check out a lot of my other videos. I have flip throughs of almost, goodness, when I think about it, almost all of the units that have came out. We haven't done all of them, but I have a ton of look inside videos, and I have a couple of day in the life videos if you're curious to what a day with Gather Around Homeschool looks like. Also hit that subscribe button so you can stick around and see other videos from us. So let's dive into this Living Off the Land. I'm just going to move the middle school notebook out for a minute, and we're going to look at the teacher's guide. All right, so like I said, this is the print from Gather Around Homeschool. It has a nice thick cover. The great thing about ordering print, if you're looking to get some of your money back, if you order print from them, they're going to have this red stamp. This red stamp gives you permission to resell this. So there is a buy sell trade group on Facebook, and you can sell the ones that you buy printed from Gather Around. So if this is a unit that you're not going to see yourself using again, you can resell it. Also, I want to mention, download their app. It is a wealth of information, tons of resources, tons of support from other Gather Around families. You can also access it on a desktop. Definitely check that out too. Here you have a note to the teacher from Rebecca. In this, she's going to explain what the Gather Around difference is, a day with Gather Around. These will include pages like this, so you have seat work, notebooking, science, social studies, history, geography, grammar, unit project, Bible, and art. How long does it take? Supplies, and is this enough? And then here you have all the places you can find them. And then here's Living Off the Land resources. You do not have to have a QR scanner to access this QR code. Your camera on your smart devices will pick this up. If you put your camera over it, it's going to pop up a website. You just click on it at the top and it'll take you there. So definitely try that out too. All of the units come with a lesson planner page. Yes, this is open and go, but occasionally I'll write things on here like videos we want to watch, or extra activities we want to do, or field trips we want to take. So this is excellent for that. When you get the print version, or if you get the digital and you print it all out, you're going to get the scope and sequence for the teacher's guide, so you can see everything you're going to cover. And then you have the scope and sequence for all the levels. So pre-reader, early reader, early elementary, upper elementary, middle school, and high school. Then you're going to get to your student book supplies, and I love how she has it broken down just like she always does her book list, broken down by levels so you can see which levels need supplies for that lesson. So for example, lesson 2, the early reader, early elementary, and upper elementary are the only ones that need those supplies. Now that doesn't mean that if you've got a middle schooler or a high schooler that they can't join in on that activity. They certainly can, but this lets you know ahead of time what you're going to need. Then you have optional hands-on activities. I love the hands-on. When we did North America, I believe we did it last year, I loved adding a hands-on activity to our lesson. So these are great. I read through these the other day and they're going to be so much fun. Again, they're optional. Don't feel like you have to do them, but if you're looking for more things to do, you've got them right here. There's a couple of pages of those. This is another note explaining living off the land, and then your table of contents. So there are 20 lessons. If you're new to Gather Round, they're designed for 4 days a week for 5 weeks, but you're going to find that families use these in a ton of different ways. Right now we're actually using these units 2 days a week, so it does take us longer. So here's all the lessons: preparing for your journey, on the trail, planning your homestead, the matter of water, clearing the land, building a home, winter is coming, protection, baking, raising livestock, planting a garden, the matter of food, what about light, cleanliness, foraging, clothing, having fun, preservation, education, and lifestyle. And then you also want to check out the appendix. I have seen lately where people turn to the appendix and they're like, nothing's there. Sometimes there isn't anything in the appendix, and that's okay. You're not missing anything, just sometimes there's nothing there. All right, so now you have your passage that you're going to work on memorizing while you're doing the unit. And then here we go. So I'm going to flip through just a couple of lessons so you can get an idea of what it looks like. Something new with this unit that I absolutely love and appreciate is this family devotional prompt. This has not been in any of her other units. Yes, there's been a prayer in some of her past units, but to have a devotional as part of your lesson every day and that it ties into your lesson, I love that idea. So you do have a prompt and a place to discuss. You also have let's talk about it. So this is preparing your journey, setting the stage, embarking on the journey, and then something you should know. So this is talking about the Homestead Act. Then at the end, you've got your note to your students, note to the teacher, your hands-on activity. So you do not have to flip back to those optional activities. Your hands-on activity is going to be listed right there. Here's a checklist if you need it, so that way you don't forget your spelling words and all those kind of things, because sometimes we forget to go back to those seat work pages, and we'll talk about that too. Here's the vocabulary. Vocabulary is really built into this unit, So we'll talk about that as well. Here's your day at a glance so you can know what everyone's doing, and if it needs answers, it will provide the answers for you. Here's lesson 2 on the trail. Something else I noticed that was new in this unit was right here, notebooking prompt. So your children have their notebooks, and the first page in their notebooks is always going to be a notebooking page. And so this right here is going to let you know, hey, this is where we're going to be using your notebooking page. So that's just a little note to you, and I love it. I love it. You'll notice the dark words, the ones that are a little bit bolder, those are your vocabulary words. You have a pioneer spotlight. Here you're talking about different trails like the Oregon Trail, the California Trail, and the Mormon Trail. Something for you to think about. And then of course it ends again the same way. So that's, the same throughout. So let's go, how about we go back a little bit and let's look. Here is lesson 8, all about protection. So you've got your prompt for your devotional. Protection from animals, protection from people, and then your pioneer spotlights, cowboys. Weapons in the 1800s. Here's you a hot button topic that you can talk about, which is guns. Spotlight on indigenous peoples, I should say. And then you've got your day at a glance again. And then if we go even further back, here's lesson 17. You've got your devotional. What kind of toys did they have? What kind of games did they play? This is so much fun. How did they celebrate? And what about entertainment? I mean, I'm going to be honest, we were not even planning on doing this unit. I just ordered year 3 because we wanted a lot of them. But when we saw this and we started flipping through it, we're like, yeah, we're ready to start this. So let's go to the appendix. So this is the appendix in the teacher's guide. So you have a labeled world map, an unlabeled world map, a map of Canada, and it's very detailed, a US map, a recipe for molasses stack cakes, sounds delicious, and then you've got the resources, where they got their information from. So that is in the back of that book. Now we're going to talk about the student notebooks. So all of your kids are going to have their own notebook. You can go and look at samples on their website, gatheraroundhomeschool.com, to decide what level you want your kids in. If you order the digital family bundle, you can open it up on your computer, you can pull from different levels, or you can just go look at the samples and make a decision. So like I said, we're trying middle school this year to see how it works. If it doesn't work out, I can send a simple email to them and ask them to move him back down to upper elementary. My goal with this is that he enjoys learning. So I'm not so much worried about what level he's in. I just want him to enjoy it. So let me make sure that we're still in frame, because I've never filmed a notebook that is set up like this. So I want to make sure that you can actually see it. When you get the notebooks printed from Gather Around Homeschool, they are going to come bound at the top. Now you can always shoot them an email, or when you're ordering, you can make a note and ask them to bind it on the side, or you can ask for it unbound. It doesn't hurt to ask, but we're actually really excited to try the binding on the top. So that's how they come, unless you specify otherwise. So this is his notebook. I'm not going to be able to show every single page, because it's going to be super awkward with it being bound like this, but I'll show what I can. So they have a little note welcoming them to living off the land. You're also going to find that same red stamp in this notebook. So if you want to do this and have your kids not write in the notebook and you want to resell it, you can, because you have that red stamp in it. So you've got welcome to living off the land. There is something new, and that's what this says here. It says if you want extra handwriting practice, spelling and vocab practice, and copy work, you can check out their brand new seat work journals. Now that is a separate purchase. It can be purchased in print or digital, but if you're looking for something so you don't have to go and find an extra notebook or figure out how you're going to practice cursive and spelling, definitely check out the new seat work journals. That's something new for this year. They're trying it out to see how it goes. You can always send them feedback and let them know what you think about it. That's an option. So here's your table of contents. It's set up by lesson, and then it tells you the subjects that they're going to hit for that day, so you'll know what's being covered. They also have what they're going to memorize. That's in here as well. Now, if you're wondering what seat work is, when I mentioned the seat work journal, seat work was added in the year 2 units, and it's also in the year 3 units. This is meant for 1 week. So parents are going to use it a variety of ways. A lot of people make extra copies of this page. A lot of people just use a spiral notebook. Some people laminate it. You can use this page however you want to, or you can purchase the seat work journal to go along with it. For us, we tend to just use the spelling words, and we'll practice those words in a variety of ways, and I actually share a spelling video on my channel if you want to check it out. That's what we use it for, but you could use it any way you want to. You have nature journaling, important events, if your kids want to write out their schedule. Let me show you the back. So the back of this one has growing my character, current events, copy work, something to explore, and then your vocabulary for the week. Vocabulary is so important, and it's something if you just share and talk about it with your kids. You don't have to do any other activities if you don't want to, but vocabulary is very important. It just helps the kids understand so much better what they're learning about. So you're going to get a seat work page for 5 weeks. If you'll notice, in the middle school and I believe high school, it is frequently misspelled words. You're going to actually have a whole list of words in all the other levels, but when it gets to middle school, it does frequently misspelled words. And then these blank spaces are for them to look through their writing from the week, and anything that they misspelled, they can add that to their list. And I love that idea. All right, so let me show you what it looks like. So let's show you a lesson here. So here we have the first notebooking page for lesson 1. It tells them exactly what they need to do. They're taking notes on the Homestead Act. They're making a packing list of essentials they would need for a vacation trip today and if they were going in the past. And then they're going to work on their vocabulary words. And you're also going to talk about the impact on Indigenous peoples. So there's a lot of things going on right here on this page. To me, this is the most important page. If we don't get any of the other lessons done, any of the other worksheets out of this lesson done, this is the most important page to me. I love the notebooking page. So you're going to have that page in there. I'm sorry I'm having to flip it over, but I want you to see what it looks like. Then you have some spelling practice. So this counts as your language arts. It gives you some ideas of how to practice. And this says to look back at your notebooking page for any spelling errors, find at least 2 words you spelled incorrectly, write them 3 times each, and add them to your spelling list. Okay, then we have a page about preparation. So this is your social studies, and this talks about how the pioneers needed to plan and prepare for their journey. And so they would physically prepare by planning out where they would go, how they would get there, what they needed to bring. And this talks about being mentally and emotionally prepared for difficulties that you might face. So that's what this page is all about. Then you have the Homestead Act. So it says, thanks to the Homestead Act passed by President Lincoln, many Americans were able to claim areas of the land to the west. So you're going to learn more about that. And this is probably a time that I would add in a video about the Homestead Act. And then before I get confused, yes, here we go. Here we go. This is your art. This is the land of opportunity. And you are going to talk about how people relied on paper communication during this time. So you're going to create a land of opportunity brochure to get the word out and to help bring more people to the Wild West. So this is just a planning page. There is an optional extension activity where you can make a 3D advertisement in the Gather Round Minecraft server. If you do not know anything about that, you should have received an email and it talked all about how to get on the list. You will need to have Minecraft already downloaded on a device. Your child will already need an account, and then you'll need to go through their list to be approved to use it. So definitely be looking for that email. And they also talked about it on the app and on the Facebook community. So if you want to use the Minecraft server, you need to go check out that email. All right, I'm going to show you one more lesson because I don't want you to have to sit here and watch me flip this awkwardly the whole time. Okay, so here's lesson 2 and your notebooking page. This is language arts and social studies. It also has some math, a mapping activity, and your vocabulary. Your child's also going to have some artwork for that day, so they're going to draw a covered wagon. One thing I do to help my child is I use Art Hub for Kids, or I'll just look up on YouTube like how to draw a covered wagon for kids. If your kids are not naturally artistic or really don't know where to start, you can always do things like that. So that's what would go there. Then we have living on the road. So this is your social studies. So it says life on the road, whether you're in a covered wagon, a motorhome, it just takes a lot of planning and creativity and patience. And so this lets you plan your own adventure, which I think would be a ton of fun. Here's your history. So this talks about then and now. And so they're going to compare like fixing a broken wheel versus changing a tire now. Like how would that be very different? What would make it harder? All those kind of things. And then this is a did you know section. So I thought that was an interesting page. Make sure I'm going the right way. All right, then you have social studies and Bible, and this talks about religious freedom. So this will be something, this will be a good discussion. That's why you know, a lot of people say, can we just use the teacher's guide? You very well could, but then you're going to miss this great stuff that's in the notebook. So here we're going to talk about religious freedom. There is an extension activity that you don't have to do. If you want more and you want to go deeper, you can use the extension activity. Let me make sure. Okay, so I'm not going to keep flipping this awkwardly, but you get the gist of what it looks like. There's a notebooking page, and then there's either going to be history, art, geography, spelling. They change up depending on what lesson that you're in. So I'm going to take you, let's go to the back here. Let's go to the back, to the appendix. So one thing I forgot to mention, the brochure that they're going to make, that's their unit project. That's where they're going to get their writing. They're going to be working on it the whole unit, and it's just going to build upon itself throughout the entire unit. So check the back of your kid's book and see what's in the appendix. They do have a spelling cheat sheet if they need it. Let me show you this side. Here's the vocabulary. So if you need the vocabulary cheat sheet, you've got that. This is for lesson 4, page 3. So it talks about a pulley system and a lever. Here is a scientific method lab sheet. So whenever that's called for in the lesson, you can use this. If you need to make a copy of it, I mean, you could do that as well so that you have it for any of your science experiments. This is for lesson 6, page 3, building a log cabin. All right, then we have lesson 7, page 2. So this is teaching them to do an introduction and then your body paragraphs and your conclusion. We can always go back and see what that is, but that's what goes with that. Then you have a recipe. Oh, important. If you see mold or pink fluid at any time in your mixture, throw it out and start over. That's a good thing to know. Homemade butter. So you got a couple of recipes. And my hands will not turn the pages today. Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm having all kinds of trouble with this binding at the top here. A potato tracker sheet. Sounds interesting. Never tracked a potato before. Bean seed dissection. So that's from lesson 11. We're doing all kinds of fun things. Oh my goodness. I haven't looked all the way through this notebook yet. Lesson 13, I believe, is candles. Oh, that's going to be fun. Man, we're going to learn so much. This says plant name, so I'm assuming that's some kind of plant activity. Then you have red cabbage pH indicator. So I see a lot of hands-on science-related things in this unit. This is going to be so much fun. A lot of history, but also some science. And then you have your references. That appendix made me want to look more through this book here. I'm sorry that I have to turn it the way that I do, but all of this sounds so exciting. Let's look at lesson 7 here. What is this? Okay, so your writing project. As you begin to plan what you want to write about, you might discover that you have a lot of ideas, but you don't know where to start. So it's teaching them how to create an outline. So you're going to read the outline about the pioneer family preparing for winter, and then you use the template in the appendix to plan your project. That's awesome. So you've got point of view and you've got brainstorming. So I've definitely got to start going through and seeing what all the good things are that we're going to learn in this unit. So I do apologize. Flipping from the top binding like that is very different than what I'm used to, but I hope that you got to see a glimpse inside the student notebook. If you want to see more pages, remember to check out the samples that you can find on the website. You can see all the levels. You can see the book list. Remember, the book lists are just suggestions. You do not have to go out and purchase those. I always recommend looking them up on YouTube. You can sometimes find people reading those on YouTube. And check out the app Epic. It isn't free, but it is a ton of books that you could use to go along with these unit studies. If you have any questions about what you saw today or any questions about homeschool, gather around homeschool, anything, let me know in the comments below. If you like homeschooling content or you just need some homeschool encouragement, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and stick around. And as always, thank you so much for watching.